All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to True Crime Loser. I hope you're doing well this morning. So, I wanted to get on here, do an episode. It's going to be kind of a slow week because of Thanksgiving, and also I have jury duty tomorrow, the day before Thanksgiving. And which has to be probably the least desirable day of the year, one of them, to get jury duty. And I think why I was summoned on tomorrow is because five or 6 years ago I got summoned and I couldn't go because the day I was supposed to go I was supposed to leave for a week and open for this comedian on the road, and it was how I was making my money for the whole month was this trip. And so I called the jury duty people and I was like, hey, so I got summoned but I can't go, I'm going on this trip, and if you can reschedule or something. And she was like, oh, okay, well, no problem, just write out 2 paragraphs of the reason and then fill out the AR3 form and put that together. And it was just, the process was just insane. I was sitting there thinking like, all right, well, I'm not doing any of this. And meanwhile she's still like, and then once you have the RS4 form filled out, put it in a bottle, throw it into the ocean, it must be found by a munchkin and then delivered. And I was like, all right, yep. I tried to do the responsible thing. I called in, but I was cast out into bureaucracy hell. And so I just no call, no showed, just didn't go. And I was always wonder what, I was like, they're going to do something. And so I was pretty behind on mail and finally got around to opening my mail. And sure enough, the day before Thanksgiving, but I'm not traveling, so I actually can do it. No big deal. Gonna show up in a good mood. Can't imagine I'll be picked for anything because I have a true crime channel. But anyway, I do have a story for you guys today, and we're going back to Last Chance, Colorado. And I did another video called Clarence Hass, No Help for Miles. And so check that video out if you haven't seen it. But Last Chance is a sun-scorched, lonesome highway of a place. And they called it Last Chance because it was your last chance to get gas before you just died, I guess. I don't know. It's just, it's beyond the middle of nowhere out there. And my dad grew up out there on a pretty big cattle ranch. And at that time, there was a motel. Like if you drove to town, which that's still a big word for it, but if you drove to what they considered the town, there was a motel, 2 gas stations, and a Dairy King, which you could get like some chicken fingers and an ice cream cone or something. The motel has shut down and it's just dilapidated. Motels in the middle of nowhere are creepy enough, kind of feels like a Coen Brothers movie. They're creepy enough when they're not just dilapidated and shut down. And the 2 gas stations are gone. The Dairy King is gone. The only thing left that we could figure out last night, my dad and I were trying to figure out what is still there. I think there's a Methodist church, and that's it. There's no businesses, there's no restaurants, there's no motels or anything. And so Last Chance doesn't, you don't even have their chance to get gas anymore. It's kind of just, you're out of chances. And one of my dad's buddies that stayed from school back in the day stayed in the area. His name was Kent Trim. And Kent was a wild kid and kind of a wild guy, always pushing it with people, getting into, mischief and stuff. And he was 64 years old. And it was one of those things my dad, like a month or two ago, was thinking, like, I need to call Kent. It's been a while. But unfortunately, 6 p.m. Sunday, November 17th, so 9 days ago, they found Kent stabbed to death on the side of Highway 36 and 71, which is just a nothing highway. And the deputies got there, and an ambulance was actually working on Kent already. And so the deputies started scouring the area for who did it, and they found him. And there was a witness, a guy named Patrick Long, that witnessed apparently witnessed the whole thing. And so they were searching the area, and then again on the side of the road, down the way a little bit, they found David Huffman, 39, and he was on the side of the roadway as well, deceased. And so that's the information that came out in the Akron NR, which is just a tiny little thing, a tiny little newspaper or something in the area. And so just think about that. Think if you were the deputy in this little tiny speck of a sun-scorched place, and you show up and a 64-year-old is stabbed to death on the side of the road. And then you search around, you find another guy that apparently did it, also dead on the side of the road. And they don't say how, but we called, I have cousins that still run a big ranch out there. It was the neighboring ranch to the one my dad grew up on. And he said that he heard that the guy that did it, Huffman, slit his own throat. And he didn't know for sure, my cousin, but he was predicting that there were either drugs or alcohol involved. And that's what I thought too. Whenever I hear of someone slitting their own throat, it's like my first thought is meth or something, because it's not an easy thing to do, to just be holding a knife and being like, all right, well, here we go, So he stabs Kent to death, goes down the way, cuts his own throat. And now, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the whole thing. It says a third man identified as Patrick Long of Lincoln was witness to the incident. Mr. Long is not considered a suspect. I wonder why that he's not considered a part of it. And then it says Washington County, which is Last Chance, Coroner's Office, and the 13th Judicial District Attorney's Office were called to assist in the investigation. Preliminary results for the forensic autopsy have resulted in the findings of a murder/suicide. The case is still under investigation, and no further press releases will be released at this time. So, sad story. I watched a pretty good movie this past weekend called Goldstone. It's an Australian movie. And I think people from Australia can really picture this type of countryside, just totally remote and dusty and nothing going on. But, yeah, that's about all I got for today. I hope everybody has a easy, short week leading up to Thanksgiving, and just a bunch of food and family and friends coming in or hanging out or whatever it is. Probably going to be pretty slow for this week. Might try to do something on Friday or something. I'll let you guys know how my jury duty goes tomorrow. But anyway, happy Thanksgiving. I'm going to cut it off there. Why? Stiving why? Shut